We'll be speaking to Alan Ochanda, who's in Meru, just to pick the minds of the locals there. Why are we seeing the numbers we're seeing? What do they think about the voter registration exercise? What will it take to get as many people as possible to get out and vote? Remember, the IEBC is looking at registering above 600 million new voters. And of course, this falls in the category of the youth. So what will it take? So Alan Ochanda will be speaking to us in a couple of minutes. ODM leader Raila Odinga is this morning set to meet youth from Central Kenya as well at the University of Nairobi. Jeff Kirui is on the ground as well for us. This is not the first time he's meeting the youth from Central Kenya. There's a clamor for votes, for looking for votes in Central Kenya. He's not the only one. You've seen a team from the Oka team. We've seen Raila Odinga. We've seen the William Ruto making inroads in Central Kenya. The focus now shifts to the youth. We will be speaking to Jeff Kirui in just a little bit. Now, I want us to focus our attention on the voter registration exercise. That is coming your way in just a few minutes. But right now, I want us to go to University of Nairobi, where ODM leader Raila Odinga is this morning holding a consultative meeting with the youth from the region, Mount Kenya region, in a bid to win the region's favor ahead of the 2022 presidential election. I did mention Jeff Kirui is on the ground. Jeff, good morning. An important conversation that Raila Odinga needs to have with the youth, looking at the numbers, 6 million plus. That is the number that the IEBC is looking at in terms of new voters, and anyone who can manage to get this group on their corner, of course, has a big advantage as we look at 2022 succession race.
Well, very good morning, Linda. Indeed, this is a very crucial vote block ahead of the 2022 general election. Remember, it's just about 10 or so months to the August 9, 2022 general election, and all the political players, especially the presidential hopefuls, are seeking to reap big from the new voters, which are expected to be registered from the exercise that started on the 4th of October, and it's expected to take 30 days. And from the data which was released by IEBC, it appears like the Mount Kenya region, which Raila has been hoping to bank on ahead of the 2022 general election, has really registered a low voter registration turnout. From the figures that we have here, it appears like the larger Mount Kenya region is actually ranking below, or rather among the top 10 counties, registering the least number of new voters in the exercise that has taken just 1 week. It started last week on Monday, and it has been ongoing. And as it stands now, the counties, some of the counties actually at the bottom 10 include Kirinyaga County, which is a county in Mount Kenya region. There is Laikipia County, a county in Mount Kenya region, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kiambu. Those are the counties in Mount Kenya, actually, which are among the bottom 10. And this Mount Kenya Youth Forum will actually form a basis and a platform as well for ODM leader Raila Odinga to rally the youth from the region to turn up and register before the exercise comes to an end in the next 23 or so days in the first phase of the mass voter registration exercise. But remember, the ODM leader Raila Odinga has been making inroads in the Mount Kenya region over the weekend. He has been in Naivasha, that is in Nakuru County. The previous week, he was engaging residents from Nyandarua County, Laikipia County, Nyandarua, all the way Murang'a County back to Nairobi at Githurai, where he had a major rally, of course, seeking just to woo the voters from the Mount Kenya region. Remember, he has not officially announced his presidential bid ahead of 2022 general election, but during the address in Nakuru County, he was very categorical that he will be pegging his announcement on the outcome of this mass voter registration exercise, rallying his supporters that the only way for him to turn up and announce is after getting that assurance that at his backyard, his foot soldiers have actually turned up and registered as voters. But based on what has been going on in the last few months, based on what has been happening in the last few months, we've seen all the political, or rather the presidential hopefuls, have been heading to the Mount Kenya region, perhaps because of the fact that there is no outright preferred candidate in that region. And of course, they are seeking to cash out. ODM leader Raila Odinga has been getting the backing of most of the governors from the region, and they are, of course, getting backing from President Uhuru Kenyatta. But this Mount Kenya Youth Forum, we are going to hear what exactly the ODM leader is going to rally the youth behind to support his presidential bid, even though he is yet to announce officially his candidature. Linda.
I was going to let you off, Jeff, because your voice was competing with the music. But allow me to ask this question. Look, ODM leader Raila Odinga is meeting the youth, and we did mention that, yes, a lot of focus is on the youth. But then, when you look at central Kenya specifically with 2020, with respect to 2022, they do not have a presidential candidate as yet, and the leaders are all jostling to see who will take whatever position that is. And it's not just about the youth, Jeff. There's a lot of focus right now on the entire central Kenya.
Well, indeed, that is true, Linda. As it stands now, there are several presidential politicians who have announced that they are going to vie for presidency come to 2022. Among them is the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi. We have the Murang'a Governor, Mwangi wa area. Those are some of the politicians who have announced that they are going to vie in 2022. But the Mount Kenya region has not outrightly come out to say we are supporting this person for presidency come the 2022. And that perhaps informs the reason why we've seen the presidential hopefuls actually heading to that region, hoping to cash and drip from the fact that Mount Kenya region does not have an outright candidate whom the region will be supporting or rallying behind in the 2022 general election. Remember, this perhaps is the first time that the region does not have a candidate whom they are going to back outrightly from the grassroots. In 2013, they had President Uhuru Kenyatta. In 2017, they had President Uhuru Kenyatta as well for his second term. So this perhaps is the reason why we're seeing all political presidential hopefuls going to that region, considering that it's a very huge voters bloc. It has a very huge population, perhaps the largest population in the country, followed by the western region. So it is going to play a key role for any presidential hopeful come the 2022 general election.
Jeff, finally, let's look at the people. Do we have an idea of who else will be at that meeting? Because that will give an indication of the kind of conversation Raila will be having with the youth.
Yes, of course, there are some leaders who will be accompanying the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and among them is the member of Caleb Hamisi, who is the member of Parliament, also representing the youth members of Parliament in Parliament. We have Bambui Youth. Those are some of the leaders who are going to accompany the Right Honourable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga to this function. We are yet to establish as well whether there will be other leaders who are going to join him later on, but the program is very tight. After this function, Right Honourable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is also expected to have another meeting. But as it stands now, this is a youth forum, and they are going to rally the youth behind his candidature, of course, awaiting his official announcement at the end of this month. Linda.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Jeff Kirui attending that meeting that Raila Odinga, ODM leader, is expected to have with youth from central Kenya in an attempt to galvanize the votes from that region. We're looking about over 6 million votes, new voters. And political leaders are jostling to try and see who will get this particular constituency of voters as we head to 2022. I want us to bring in Alan Ochanda now, who is in Meru. Alan Ochanda, lots of voter apathy, specifically in central Kenya. Looking at that story that was done by Jeff Kirui, there's a low